Thank you, Danielle. I'll start by saying that, in general, like, as a VC, you don't really pitch anything, like, technically. You have money, but my money, my dollars, are as green as A16Zs or Paradigms, and it's exactly the same thing. Um, so the question is, like, what is the branding that you have? And, we're a Tel Aviv-based fund, we're an Israeli fund. We're not very good at branding or marketing. But I will try to talk about what kind of makes us slightly different. So yeah, do you want to start, like, what are VCs good for? Show of hands. Money, okay, yeah. Validation, okay, yeah. Networking, yeah. What? Getting customers, yeah. Oh, hey, what's up, dude? All right, so I pasted the screenshot from our new website. We think, crypto is freeing money, and we back the ones with chutzpah. We're transparent, we're brutally honest, and we're direct. We think that capital is replaceable, but the Israeli spirit is not, and I'll talk about this in a bit. So this is going to be slightly controversial, obviously. Do you know this? This is the chart of unicorns per capita. Like, Israel is like way beyond anything else. Anyone knows why? There are various reasons, but structurally, does anyone have an idea why? We love money? Yeah, that's true, yeah. I think everybody loves money, right? But yeah, okay. Army, okay, that's a good one. It develops resilience very early on, right, for like the general population. All right, so let's unpack this, and through that we can understand Collider. So yeah, I want to start with this book. It's called Radical Candor by Kim Scott. Her takeaway from the book is kind of like great leaders, they care personally, like on a one-to-one basis, and they challenge directly. And how did she learn this whole thing? So she started she was a manager at Google and Apple, and generally she thought she was a good manager, and she knew how to give good feedback. Then she traveled to Israel, and she spent a few months at the Google Tel Aviv's office. She developed this way to give feedback. It's called the sandwich method. Does anyone know the sandwich method? Yes? Yeah? So you start with like saying something good, right? Oh, you're great at this. And then you repeat by saying something, oh, you're not as good as this, or you're bad at this. And then you close it off with something good, kind of like a sandwich. And the story she tells, she was in a meeting, and the meeting ended, and she wanted to say something to one of the guys that were there. And the meeting ended, she took him to another room, and she gave him the feedback. And he was like, wait, why didn't you give me that feedback in there with everybody else? Like, what's wrong with you, basically? And his take is like, gentle feedback, when you're gentle and you're essentially not honest, it's ineffective, right? It is actually dishonest. And so what she learned is that the team in Israel is like, kind of like, they don't sugarcoat, they don't want any delegate handling, they want like the brutal, honest truth, direct and unfiltered, even if it sounds like it hurts, right? And what she realized from this entire thing is that a culture of directness is elite. It's not abrasive, it's not bad, it's not rough, essentially. And kind of like, disagreement doesn't mean that I don't respect you. Arguing passionately shows that I respect you. I care about whatever it is that you're saying. That's why I'm going to think deeply, and I'm going to challenge what you have or what you said, because we want to reach a higher truth, basically. And this is kind of like from the Talmud, the clash of scholars sharpens wisdom. In Jewish tradition, it's like you argue and you deliberate over and over and over, over even the minute things, because you want to reach some higher truth. And so yeah, that brings me to Collider. Basically, we are 5 partners. I used the AI to generate this little drawing. Who do you think that I am in this? The one, the one with the hoodie? The cool guy. They're all cool. There's no not cool here. So I told them one of them wearing Burning Man attire. So I'm kind of the one with the Burning Man attire, I guess. we see conflict as a feature, not as a bug, and that the best ideas survive through battle, not through consensus. So yeah, why you don't want to work with us? There's no safe space. Like we're really going to be honest and brutal with everything that we say. We will argue with each other in front of you, and I think we have Asher here in the back. He can attest. Like last week, he sat and he was pitching something, and me and Avishai, one of my other co-founders, we literally turned to each other and we argued for like 20 minutes on. I think it was generally around the strain between building the product or the protocol first, right? You want to build a product, but it is as a part of a bigger protocol. And so what comes first? And you know, in my take in that specific discussion was like, you have to first build a product, and then through that you build a protocol. And Avishai was like, no, you have to start with the bigger vision, with the protocol, with the decentralized DAO or whatnot. So it's very interesting, I think, for the founders, because they get to see like differing opinions, and we could speak in let's say heightened tones and voices, but it's all like from respect, basically. We will be brutally honest when we think you're wrong, and the interesting thing about this whole thing is that you don't actually have to accept the fact that we think differently than you. We would love to challenge and argue with you about whatever it is that you think. So yeah. And I think a core thing that we have is that we think that founders don't really need us. We really believe that founders shouldn't need us, shouldn't want to work with us. So what does it mean? There's a founder that believes in the vision, and he has actually healthy narcissism, right? He really believes in himself. He could be a little stuck up and stuff like that. And he will be questioning everything else. Like, why would you build any other startup? My startup is the greatest, basically. We think this is a critical trait. They are radically transparent. That means they are okay with having hard conversations. And they are they're very good with delivering bad news. They want to come to you first with the bad news, first with the things that don't work, and in order for us to help them. And yeah, they own the failures as much as their successes. And one last thing is, they understand politics. They understand that they need to navigate, competing interests, especially in crypto. Because in crypto, you have to pitch to the people who are in it for the tech, for the long haul. We have to pitch to the people who are the traders, right? And these are completely different sort of constituents that you want to have all of them in your as a part of your protocol and a part of your community. So, do VCs actually create value beyond giving money? Yes? No? Yes? Yes? Thumbs up? All right. I mean, crypto Twitter would disagree, right? Like, fuck VCs, they don't mean anything. They just extract value, they dump on retail and all that stuff. So, Quintelo, like, where do we see ourselves creating value? The main thing is that when shit hits the fan. When things are going smooth and nice and okay, you don't really need us. One thing that, this is kind of like feedback from one of the founders. They ended up closing, but he told me like every conference, like we would meet, we would sit, and I would do a couples therapy session. I became a therapist. I don't even have any degree, let alone psychology, but I was a founder before, and we would sit, both of the founders, we would like air out, the differences between them, the things that they didn't, that may have been strained over the course of the relationship. And yeah, so I'm a couples therapy. One thing that is always interesting is that to discuss impossible choices, right? You can, there's always a choice whether you double down or you pivot, like almost on a daily basis for a startup. There's a choice of, what else is coming to my mind? Whether you scale up or you decide to fire people or you decide to hire more. There's always these questions, and we would love to be in like the deep discussions of why you should or should not do them. And the general thing is that you'll sit with us even after we invest, and you'll sit with myself and Avishai or Adam or Tal or Adiel, and you will get radically different opinions. it's very, very interesting for founders. Um, so yeah, and I mean, the goal of that is, ultimately to reach a better decision. And yeah, we, as a fund, we actually try to export this as a startup culture. We think this is, by the way, I will caveat this. This is extremely good for early stage startups. And that's why Israel is very good in early stage startups. Once you start growing beyond, 200, 500 people, this culture could be bad because you want to have structure, you want to have middle management, you want to have flows and the way things work. So for early stage stuff, this is super important and it works really, really well. Beyond that, not so much. So yeah, this is, our website. Feel free to check it out. Anyone has any questions? Yes? Yeah. So, as a VC, seeing this market, oh,
That's gonna.
oh yeah, now it works.
It works now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a VC that see all of the changes, I feel like our industry changed a lot in the last year, and it's impossible for you guys probably to invest in the meme coin craze. What are you excited about? Because you're investing and you usually unlock in 4 years time. What are you guys bullish on right now that you think will survive all of the changes up to 2029, 2030?
Yeah, so I want to say, you said the landscape is kind of changing, and I think it is changing a lot for many VCs. And, there was a practice of invest, maximum vesting schedule, shortest vesting schedule, get the tokens out as soon as possible and dump them. And honestly, we never played this game. And this means that maybe some funds beat us in returns, right? Because they were able to extract so much value. But we don't play this game, and we think, I always say this, that it's impossible for me to think short term and long term at the same time. For me, mentally, it's almost impossible. So the thinking is always long term, and most of the startups that we invest in them, let's say The Graph or Nexus Mutual, these are kind of the oldest ones, or more recent is CowSwap or Safe. We haven't sold anything. We believe it in the long run. I don't think it's even possible to build a unicorn in 4 years, a real unicorn that has value in 4 years. It's extremely difficult. And so, yes, you have earlier liquidity, but traditional startups is the earliest liquidity you will get is in 7 years, right? So here we're talking about 4 years, maybe. Technically it could be 1, right? Your cliff is in a year. So that's kind of that. The question of what are we bullish on, I think in general we're at a point where we have all the infrastructure we need. We really do. We have everything can scale, everything can work, and now it's the time to essentially build products and features and consumer applications that the users don't know there's a blockchain behind it. And then you ask this question, okay, so what does blockchain enable you? What does crypto enable you? It gives you transparency, it gives you the ability to move money without any borders, right? Permissionless transfer of funds. And it gives you all these things, and you can build applications that utilize these characteristics in a way where the end user doesn't need to know that it's a wallet, doesn't need to have a seed phrase, doesn't need to have any of these things. And at the fundamental level, it's ownership. You can give users ownership in whatever it is that you're building without burdening them with, traditionally it's legal documents, right? You have to sign all these documents, and here it's in tokens. I'll abstract it for you. You'll have a wallet. You don't need to know that it's a crypto wallet. You'll have points that give you shares in my company. It's very soon, I hope that we'll be able to speak this way because, the administration in the US is going to change. It's going to change how it looks at tokens. So yeah, that's kind of, I guess, generally. And specifically, there are structures that are top down in society. This could be, government organizations and stuff like that. And the goal of crypto is to bite a small part of this authority and build them in an independent bottom-up way. So like you can build, I don't know, like a US authority or take the police, for example. Like they get the authority through, they get their reputation through the authority, right? And you can build with crypto reputation that is bottom up. Like we're all gathering together, we're all building stuff, and we're building the credibility of, I don't know, a certain feature, a certain service, and stuff like that. And I think like these are the interesting areas that I'm kind of looking at right now. Yeah. Anyone else?
Hello. So do you have advice for founders who are looking to raise money? Because I think a lot of people are trying to raise. Are there some ways, to attract attention of VCs, some things that you're specifically looking for in the way people pitch to you, in the way people approach you?
Okay, so I'll say two things. The first thing is to remember that we are emotional creatures and we make decisions by emotion. The first thing that you need to remember is it's not the numbers and the logic and these type of things that will make a VC invest. It's them emotionally being invested in you. Like they want to be a part of your journey. The numbers will come later to justify the emotional decision that was already made. So that's one thing. And then the other thing, and I think it's an art to be able to pitch. And throughout the pitch, you want to make the VC in front of you. It's a fine line between making them feel stupid and making them feel smart. And it's important because generally VCs, they're generalists. They don't know anything deep, but they know about a lot of things. And so they'll be able to have, basically, they will be able to take different things and apply them to whatever it is that you have, like analogies and stuff like that. And then the question is, how do you explain to them something that they don't understand about with the ability for them to feel like they are learning, but still like, whoa, this guy really understands his stuff, really knows his things, and yeah, that's kind of like the way I would approach it. All right, I think that's it. Yes, thank you.